All right. Welcome back to another episode of Usapang Musiko Season 2. And for today's episode, I want to talk about mastery and refinement. No, last week we talked about consistency, how it affects your journey. No, how it makes you a better musician, or you know, how it could help you become a better version of yourself. Okay. One thing's for sure, no, you don't have to compete with anyone as a musician. It's not about competition. It's always about being better than who you were yesterday. It's not about you have colleagues that are better than you. There will always be people who are better than you. But the thing is, you have to understand that in order for you to grow, you have to be better than who you were yesterday. That's the only thing that you need to work on. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk about mastery and refinement in terms of musical skills and all those other stuff. Okay. Why am I going to talk about these things? Because I believe it's not talked about as much. No, we always hear people grind it out, they always need to become better. You have to do something, no, you have to work, put in the hours, as they say, no, in order for you to grow, to become a better musician, to become good in your craft, whatever instrument you're playing. But we're kind of missing out on the point that it's really a process. Okay, what separates music musicians with other forms of art, like visual arts, no, like painters or sculptors, is that everything that we do is fleeting in nature. Whether that's a recording, you can immortalize yourself in a recording, but the thing is, the second it stops, your artwork is not there anymore. It's fairly abstract. And the thing about it is, it's the same thing why people play battle royale games. Use that, no, as a sort of an analogy. No, there's no progression. Technically, there's no progression, linear progression within it. No, you don't level up your character that you start out with. You're always going back to zero, and that's the same thing with music. Is you technically go back to zero because you don't have anything on your uh, plate, or you don't have anything yet until you start playing. And that's actually one of the things that makes it uh interesting, is that it's fleeting, and you can't really say that, okay, uh you can hold on to it. No, it's really very, very abstract, to say the least. Okay, and this is where mastery and refinement comes in, because as musicians, we tend to work on our skills in order for us to become better. Okay, the music part actually comes in very late in the process of learning things. No, for example, if you're learning a piece, you're not going to be working on the nuances of the music the first time you read something. You're gonna work on techniques that you need to build on, that you need to understand, so that you can transfer that to the piece that you're learning. And then the music comes in once you build up the techniques that you need to work on. And with that being said, the thing is, it's always a risk to reward ratio. Every time you're doing it, every time you're practicing it, it's not going to be the same way that you're gonna do it every single time, because it's fleeting. The moment you release that note, it's already gone. And what you're doing when you're practicing is you're mimicking whatever you were doing, or improving on what you were doing before. But it's not the exact same thing. Okay? It's different. Like for painters, you have a painting, one single painting that you have. Everyone can see it as it is. But for music, it's not. Once that note you played is gone, it's gone forever. Even though you recorded it, it's different now. It's not the exact same essence that you have. Now, where does refinement and mastery come in? Because they think that once you master a stroke, for example, once you master your bowing, that's it. No? But it's not. You still need to tweak it every day. Every now and then you come back to the basic stuffs so that you can tweak it, make it better. And that's where refinement comes in. So mastery is reaching a level of confidence wherein you can do something without the need of help from others, right? That's how you master something. Now, once you get to that point, it's not like you have it in your hands that you can use it at will. It's not yet there. You have to refine it in a way that those movement make sense in the situation that you're gonna use it. So refining is a lifelong journey. It's something you don't get to the end of. No? Even professional musicians, even concert artists. That's why they still practice. It's not because you might think that, oh, they don't practice anymore because they already know what they're doing. No. Even though you mastered your craft, you still need to practice because you're only as good as your last performance, as they say. Because your last performance is what people will remember you by, not not the practices that you've been doing. And that's the thing. It's a challenge. It's a lifelong journey. You can't create one masterpiece and stop. Why? Because every time you play something, it's gonna be in different circumstances, different situations that you need to adjust yourself in. Oh. Like for example, if you're playing here in the Philippines, diba? It's a very humid country. We live in a very humid climate. So every time you go from one hall or one place to another, your instrument changes. Now, if you have mastered your own instrument, you know the ins and outs of it. You have to refine it so that when something happens, maybe pegs go loose, your bow is not too tight or it tightened up because of the climate, you know what to do with it because you're refining your skills in order for you to make those micro adjustments every time you play. Because every time we play, even though it's like clockwork, for example, if you already have this piece in your head, it's not just about playing it over and over again. Every time you're gonna play it, it's a different situation, a different circumstance, a different approach will come in. And when you understand how to refine those things, how to tweak them in your practice, that's where it becomes better. But the thing is, you will never reach your best. It's kind of sad, but it's kind of that's the meaning of life there, right there, no? You just do things because you want to be better with technically the end goal in sight, but you will never reach that end goal. That's why you need to refine your skills a lot. So it's it's a journey to master certain techniques, and it's a lifelong journey to master to refine those techniques in order for you to use them at will, no? So every time, that's why it's not like you already know how to do it. No, it's programmed in your head. You already know how to do it. But sometimes there are a lot of differences that can go wrong. And that's just because it's you performing. Maybe that's what you need to understand when you are a performer. Because some things may go wrong. No, you don't have anything tangible because what are you doing as a musician is you're playing around with air, you're playing around with time and sounds. You're not using visual colors, you know. You're not using pigments that are concrete in nature. You're not using material that can be touched, that can be seen, that can be perceived with texture, you know. But we create those imageries in the minds of those people listening to us. And in order to convey that, there needs to be a level of mastery and refinement that goes in. So you just don't practice one technique until you get it. You practice that technique until you get to a point where you're comfortable using it, and then you tweak it in whatever situation you may use it. And I think that's why a lot of beginners fail to understand why their patience is very very low when it comes to learning or starting out uh learning any musical instrument. Is that okay? Maybe right now you can play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, right? But try to play it again and again and again and again, and try to see if there will be differences. Of course there will be some minute changes, differences, no? But if you haven't mastered it yet and you play it again and again, you will notice a lot of things that change. Now, when you master that, you try to create something different from it, no? Whether change the dynamics, you know, change the quality of the sound, no? You refine things, you fine tune things. And I think that's one of the reasons why we love what we do, because it's never ending. There's always problems to be solved, no? It's not like you create one masterpiece and then you're done. Because everything you create adds up. You have more experiences, more things to convey your audience, more ideas as you grow older. And through mastery and refinement. Yeah. Because not a lot of people talk about refinement. No. But the thing is, it's part of your journey as a musician. No. You need to be consistent in order for you to master the things that you need to work on and then refine them. Fine tuning takes forever. It's not uh once in a lifetime thing that you need to do and then you're good. No. That's why professionals still practice scales. No. Of course, playing with soloists, you see how they warm up. No. Before rehearsals, before concerts, you can still see that they are still doing the same things. You'd be surprised to see them, no? Because on the stage, it feels surreal that they can play at a fairly high level, but if you look at how they work, it's fairly simple. It's just that they have mastered that technique and then refined it, fine-tuned it so that they can use it at will. No. Yeah. I We've seen violinists, concert violinists from abroad. When they practice, they warm up using playing open strings, no? Even other musicians, they play long tones. They don't directly go to their pieces. Why? Because that's the basic structure of everything. That's the foundation of everything that they do. And once you understand that it is that important, you give it a chance to not bore you. No? Because a lot of beginners tend to bore themselves out because they don't understand what they need to find. Well, that's really important to note, no? Is that they need to understand why they need to do these things, not just because you the teacher told them to, but because it has everything you need in order for you to become better in your craft. And I guess that's how it really ends up and how it goes throughout your musical life. So if you want to really pursue music as a career, even as a hobby, um, it takes a lot of patience and skill. But the thing is, it will always pay off because you will always feel fulfilled as long as you understand the challenges and hardships that you will go through. Because of course, the frustrations will come. There will be times that you're fed up with what you're doing. You'll be burned out or whatever you call that. But that's the fun. That's the fun thing about playing. Because you never really know what you will experience, no? Because again, it's more of like, I mean, performance is very very critical. Yeah. One mistake will be heard by a lot. But the thing is, it's fleeting as well. So that mistake doesn't matter as long as you did your job. This is the thing. You have to understand what you're doing, and of course, do it with conviction so that whatever comes out will still be meaningful, will still be fulfilling for you. And that's the most important thing you have to understand about being a musician, no? Again, I always say this, it's lifelong. So you really can't, I mean, you will achieve your goals, but if you really want to be good at it, you have to spend your whole life playing, no, doing it. Not because you're forced to. That's the thing. You have to do it because you love what you're doing. And to be able to refine your skills takes it a higher level into a higher level than just mastering. Because again, if we say mastery, it's something that you have. But if you refine that thing, it becomes different. No? It evolves. And your sound, your music should always evolve. That's why we have a ton of music right now, no? Because it evolved. Because people were doing it, they didn't get tired, but they experimented. No, it's the same thing. If you want to get a better sound out of your instrument, experiment. No, what you already know. Sometimes we are boxed in with the things that we already know. So our minds are already focused on those things. But the thing is, once you already know something, diba? The more you know something, the more you realize you don't know about other things as well. And that's how you improve in what you do. Is because you understand that there are more things that you need to work on in order for you to grow as a musician. Uh, And the thing about music is it transcends a lot of things. No? Art transcends everything. There's science involved. There's math involved. Numbers are always involved. No? Even literature. You know, everything can be used as an idea in order for you to express yourself. So it's not just mastering a certain technique, it's also mastering your emotions, for example, mastering and refining the way you show your happiness, for example, no? The way you show your sadness through your music, the way you can convey your emotions through it. Because the sound is only a tool to convey ideas, expressions, and emotions. And if you use those tools correctly and properly, you'll be able to explore other things. No? Because your sound is that expression. And again, everything is fleeting, especially in music. So, whatever you might have said through your music may be interpreted in a different light, but you can do it again and say a different meaning all at the same time. So, it's very, very abstract. And if you really want to get better at it, explore and refine your skills. I think this would be technically the last thing you do because you have to already have a grasp of the ideas and concepts and techniques in order for you to refine. You can't refine something that you don't have, right? So, in order for you to grow, you have to master it first. No? How do you master it? Again, consistency, and showing up. Being able to endure the pain of practicing until that pain becomes happiness or fulfillment or contentment that you already want to do it. You want to suffer through it because it fulfills your need or your want to become a better musician. All right, so I will end this episode here on Usapang Musiko Season 2. Again, thank you for supporting my YouTube channel and of course my podcast. By the way, we're a month in from my album being released through my glasses. Of course, check it out. It's available on all major music streaming platforms. You can also download it. It's also on SoundCloud and Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, wherever you're listening to your music. Please check it out. Link is down in the description box. And of course, I just want to say thank you because we've hit 13,000 streams on Spotify. I'm not sure with the analytics on other platforms, but I've seen 13,000 plus on Spotify. And I really appreciate you guys listening to it. And I hope you enjoy it. If you have any requests or whatever, just comment down below or reach me through my socials. No, links down in the description box below. And of course, the podcast has been growing as well. Thank you again. So check it out on Anchor. It's also available on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms. Again, this is Ryan Monakil for Usapang Musiko Season 2, and I'll see you on the next one.